What's going on, Action Army?
What's happening, guys? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the official Action Army show.
Welcome to the most important hour of your life this week. If you're not watching this show, you're probably a Jackass or a Lion's Den fan.
Yeah, guys, it's basically a fucking call to action. Just kidding, it's exactly what it is, okay? This is the intro to Call to Action, the single most important piece of content you're going to ingest in the next 7 minutes.
If you love Action Army and you love Ben and Drew, then this is the place to be. And if you don't love us, well, then fuck you.
Go buy a suit, get it fitted, get the pants tailored so the length is just right and the break of your pants looks fantastic, get a bottle of Jameson, and get on fucking board.
Peace out.
What's up, everyone? This is Danielle here with the Action Army podcast, Call to Action. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I'm one of your hosts. It's your lovely little Texan, Danielle.
Hey guys, it is Melissa. Number 18, we're still with you miraculously.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm feeling pretty good over the Packers' victory, so I'm representing Aaron Rodgers. Go Pack, go! Let's get the show going.
Yeah, so we have a very fun episode today. We get to talk about our one and only Andrew Guy, and we had a very exciting match this past week with Riley and Guy this past Tuesday. So we're gonna go in and talk about that match. I'm excited about it. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm excited to talk about our GHAI guy.
The GHOAT.
Yeah. The
yeah.
GHOAT. Yeah. So the first round started off kind of slow. It was very much like Ben and Drew's. Very much like Ben and Roka's match, where they didn't start off so well in the first round. And that was really interesting. It was really interesting to see that. But what I thought was really super funny was the before the match interviews with Mark Riley. And there was a little snippet in there where Mark Riley called Andrew Guy a little bitch. And that was hilarious. I thought that was funny. So big props to Mark Riley for that.
Yep, that was pretty funny. It was hilarious. It was something you would not expect from Mark Yodi Riley, who quote unquote eats heels for breakfast. So for him to kind of have that, for Andrew to bring that out of him, it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was similar in the first round. It was 3-4. So both of the five horsemen managed to get 3 in the first round. So looking at you, Roka.
Mm.
So, but yeah, it's funny. I just think right now Andrew is on just like this hot streak and a confident streak. And, you know, Riley didn't look anything like how he kind of like how he used to be like the 2-time champ. It just like he looks like he was just kind of like washed up, and like at a point he just like didn't really care. And it felt especially bad in the second round, like his deposed stream, and like yeah. And I like how he said that like he was going to get his 10th win against Andrew, and he only got 9 points total. So
Yeah.
he couldn't even get to that.
Yeah, so Riley did say that, and even in the strengths, Guy's strengths were Judd Apatow, action movies, rom-coms, and insulting everyone. I thought that was funny. And then Riley's strengths were comic book movies, scores and soundtracks, Oscar movies, and insulting Andrew Guy. I thought that was funny too. So it was really interesting going into the second round. You can really tell that Drew really knows how to work his opponent he's really good at talking shit.
Yeah.
One thing I appreciate is Andrew has always said, I like to play from behind. I like to play from behind. And I like that even in the face of like Dan Murrell, Mark Riley, like he's never deviated from that. And I think that's such a good attitude to have, because I think the second we see him like second guess himself and change his mind on that, I think that's where he'll falter. But I think as long as he has that mindset of like not changing what he's doing and just like he knows what he wants to do and he's gonna do it no matter what, like I think his streak will continue to be solid.
Yeah. So do you guys have any feelings about people calling Guy's match against Merle a fluke? Even Riley was kind of talking a lot about that in his pre-match interview, just talking about it being a fluke, and then he ends up TKOing both Dan Merle and Mark Riley. And so I think it's pretty hard to call this a fluke now, huh?
Yeah. I think people are just running out of things to say to like, you know, to like try to bring him down at this point. So they're just trying to like fall back to a default kind of insult, like with team action when they always say like the discount suit or something or multiple choice army. They're just like, oh, like we can't think of anything better than to just call him a fluke. But Riley did, I guess, at the post matchup, he said like, no, he's not a fluke or anything like that. But but like,
I think
that's pretty much all they were trying to.
I think that like I think when you see people that like respect each other, they'll always say things like any match, anyone can beat any other person. It's about the spin of the wheel and the luck of the draw and stuff like that. And I think that's always been the attitude, is like anything can happen. So for them to call Andrew's win a fluke, I thought was kind of funny, because the word fluke is just something that's not thrown around the Schmodown very often. It's usually like they're always just saying it's just like the luck of the wheel, luck of the, categories and things like that. They always kind of attribute it to whether it's luck or talent, but that, they always kind of focus on that. So for the word fluke to be thrown out was like, I think the ultimate disrespect. So I'm definitely glad Andrew avenged that particular term. So yeah.
Yeah, he almost went 4 out of 4 in his round 2. He spun Christopher Nolan, which is a big strength of his. He got 3 out of the 4 questions right. And the question that he did get wrong, he knew the answer to it. And that's not putting anything behind Mark Riley, because scores and soundtracks is a hard category. And even if it is a strength, it really is a tricky category to spin, and he was super confident going into it. Man, he was very confident once he landed on scores and soundtracks. And it was just a bummer. I think he missed most of them. I think he got 1 point out of that round.
Yeah.
And they were tough. I mean, they were, to his credit, those were some tough questions. Mm-hmm. So, they weren't, the major movies, like the blockbusters. They were kind of more under the radar films. So, I don't begrudge him for, some people will say, oh, he got his strength, and he had a bad, round with his strength, and they might like discredit him. But I think he just had a tough round. So, I think a lot of people would have had trouble. I think Christian is like scores and soundtracks. I think even he would have had a rough one with that one. So,
yeah, and even like with team action, we've had action adventure, and like some of them have just been really deep cuts and stuff too. So it really does come down to some of the questions sometimes. So, not always if you're getting your straight, is it 100% of a guarantee. But I guess the third round was pretty interesting. Riley missing his 5-point question. I kind of screamed a little bit, the Disney heart in me. All of us, by the way, this is the Disney team over here.
Correct.
So
Yes.
so yeah, so all of us kind of like freaked out, and we all kind of like, wow, what are you doing? But it was I thought it was hilarious. Andrew had his little video camera while he was recording him doing the little answer, and then he posted it on the page because he's so good at just messing with people and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's good at that. I thought Riley knew the answer. I thought he was just kind of playing around, especially because it was his last question. I really thought he knew the answer, and then when he asked for that last JTE rule, it was pretty apparent that he didn't, and that was really interesting. And I'm such a big Disney fanatic. We all are, and the three of us are. And so as soon as I heard it, I was screaming Arendelle, like almost from the top of my lungs. And I was super excited when I heard it, and then he didn't get it. And Andrew pulling out his phone when Andrew said, "Is it okay if I record this?" And then he put, "I'm going to give you whiskers." I thought that was hilarious. I would have loved to have seen that. I need to see Mark Riley in a whiskers Snapchat filter, please. And thank you.
Or like a puppy, one of the puppy Snapchat looks. Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, but it's been said that Danny and I finish each other's sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
So we probably at that exact moment did speed the answer. Probably.
I thought of all the, and I don't know, you guys might disagree, but I thought of all of the 5-point Disney questions that we've heard. I thought that one was actually one of the easier ones.
Yeah.
Like I thought like the Peter Pan one, like I knew, but like I can legitimately say like it's a tough question for someone who may not like be as like deep cut into it. But like this one I thought was kind of, I think it could have passed as a 3-point question, but I mean, if you don't know it, you don't know it. So can't really criticize, but I thought it was one of the easier 5-point Disney questions. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I saw a few reactor videos, and a couple of people knew it. So I did think it was an easier Disney question. I didn't think the John Michael Wendy question was that hard, but a few people said that it was.
It's just an older Disney movie, so like it's just one of those things that I could see like maybe younger Disney fans maybe not going back that far. I don't know. But yeah, I mean I knew it, so I didn't think it was that hard, but I could see how some people would, so.
Yeah, but I really thought Mark Riley knew the answer. So it was kind of a surprise to me that he didn't. So when Andrew won, that was a big fun surprise.
Yeah. I know this sounds like crazy, but like I'm almost, I don't want to say I'm disappointed because TKOs are awesome, but like one of these days I really do want to see him like answer a question for the win. You know what I mean? Like that would just be like awesome. But I mean, like I like knockouts, I like TKOs, those are great. But then like just like the excitement of answering a question for the win would just be awesome. So like if you could have like a pretty solid lead and just have to answer the 2-point question for like the win, I would like that.
Yep. Like if Ben would have gotten his last question right for the Roka match, it would have gone all the way down to the last question.
Yeah.
That would have just been an epic battle of trivia.
I would have been screaming.
Yeah, so it's understandable to kind of hear people say things like it was luck or anything like that, because the wheel works in mysterious ways, y'all. And Mark Riley really thought that wheel was working in his favor, and it absolutely was not. And it was working 100% in Andrew Guy's favor. And that is why our guy TKO'd Mark Riley, another horseman down.
Hey. Yep, we took another one out into the pasture. Now we gotta take one more out.
Yep. And we got our sweet little Frozen movie to thank for that. So I'm gonna pull this out.
Thank you, Olaf, for
Just let it go, y'all.
Hmm.
Andrew Guy is the GOAT. Let it go.
So overall thoughts on the match. You guys have any just general beyond woohoo, Andrew won?
One thing that Christian said during the match was something like Andrew Guy being one of the best people on the mic, that he really knows how to handle being on their microphone, and I really agree with that. And I really think the fun part about watching Team Action and watching Andrew Guy specifically is watching them develop these characters and who they are as players and as heels, especially with this big rivalry against Roka specifically and the Horsemen, because Roka was kind of the OG heel. Like, I remember when I first started getting into the Schmodown, I was not a fan of Roka. How a lot of people feel about Andrew Guy is exactly how I felt about John Roka. I just did not like him. And so I think it's really interesting to see Guy develop this character from Roka. I almost feel like Roka kind of paved the way for heels and how heels kind of behave in a certain way. And Roka can be pretty problematic, in my opinion at least. But I think it's really interesting to see Ben and Drew develop the absolute best heels in the game ever, period. I said it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't change my mind.
Yeah. I mean, Roka was like the original, like the original American badass kind of like, he was the very first one to develop the persona of the outlaw. Before that, everyone kind of just dressed up every once in a while and stuff like that. But he was the very first one to create personality to it. So I guess that's why a lot of people were, drawn into the Schmodown. Yeah. So, but Ben and Andrew kind of taking it to the next level. Besides just kind of like acting like a wannabe tough guy, and just like screaming and yelling and stuff. Like they know how to like kind of like mess with their opponent's heads, like each one. And if you just check out like their interviews and stuff, like they really do study the other people's opponents down to like even the numbers that they've chosen in the past, to like mess with them and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. I as far as like John Roka goes and kind of the upcoming Roka Guy match. Well, I'll start with my thoughts on the match itself, and then we'll kind of move that way. But I don't know how you guys have felt, but like both of these matches, it's never been it's always felt like it was pretty securely, like he's always either been in the game or solidly winning the game. So it's always been sort of like a very it's never felt like, oh my gosh, he's going to win, because he's already winning. So it's just been a very satisfying, it's been a very satisfying win to watch. I mean, less so than the Dan Murrow match. The Dan Murrow match I watched with a huge smile on my face, because I was like, oh my gosh, he's killing it. And this time it was just kind of a pretty much well, yeah, this is kind of what I expected. So so yeah, I mean, I do look forward to the Roka Guy match, because no matter whether it's just kind of a even keel solid match, I think there will be fireworks, whether it's in the pre-game, the post-game, during the game. I'm sure they'll be jawing back and forth. So and challenges can sometimes play into people's heads and stuff, and I think it's going to be a much tenser match. Much more tension in the match between him and Roka. So I won't really speak to Roka as far as he's healed him necessarily, other than there's some backstory. I think there's some legitimate headbutting there. And so I think the match itself is going to turn out to be, it's going to feel like it's going to feel like really heated versus just fun.
Oh, it's going to be intense. It's going to be super intense. And Christian said something about having to hire SWAT for this match, and I don't think he's wrong. I think it's going to be a very intense match. I think Andrew Guy is one of the best shit talkers in the league, and I think John Roca is also one of the best shit talkers in the league, and I think that they will both try to work each other, and it's just going to be a battle of words. I don't think Christian and Mark, whoever's running the desk at that time, I don't think they're going to be able to get a damn word in. It's going to be fun and scary at the same time, but I think it's going to be intense, and woo! I can't wait.
No. Yeah. I mean, we joke around the father-son match, but yeah. I mean, I just think definitely they're just both of them are gonna bring their A game. I don't think we're gonna see the same Roca against Ben. Like, I think we're gonna see them both like really go, like a real kind of like a boxing match, like really just tit for tat kind of thing. So looking forward to it. Can't wait to see the smack talk. You're already seeing some of it on Twitter already. So yeah, I mean
the beef is real.
I just really hope Guy wins because I think all of us are just tired of Roca always getting an opportunity, always every single time get a title, always getting an easy weight, only having to win 2 wins to get a chance to win a belt again. I just let's just have Guy, and we love Dibs, but we gave him a month to hold on to the belt, so now we can take it and get it back for ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have a date yet for Guy Roca, so Bibbs may have it for a little while longer. But yeah, I think there will definitely be shades of top 10 team action. If you guys remember that match, that was just, challenges and like smack talk and like getting in Roca's head, and it was just like it was the most nail-biting match of just like genuine like animosity towards each other, and I think we're gonna get a little bit of that. Like I said, we don't have a date yet, so we'll maybe have a little while to ruminate on it and watch the social medias for their back and forth. But there is definitely no love lost between them. Not to say they're enemies or hate each other, but I don't think they see eye to eye necessarily. So I think you're going to see like an old school, match here.
Yeah. Do you think John Roca is going to bring out his blindfold, his mask?
Probably, because he's lame like that. He doesn't have anything else.
You got to have a gimmick.
Yeah, I'm going to say he
hopefully
won't,
just a blindfold and trips and falls or something, and automatically Guy gets the win.
I think he's not stupid enough and he would realize that he wears the mask. Guy's going to do something. I don't know whether he'll like draw on his face or throw a pie at him or something, but if he has his blindfold on, Andrew's going to take advantage of that. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, like surely he's not dumb enough to try that, but we'll see.
We shall see.
This is the same guy who doesn't really know the rules anyway. In team championship matches, so we can never count that against Roca to come up with something, especially when he's, when he's a little bit like either heated or he loses composure. That's probably what the key is to the game for Roca.
Yep. He takes himself very seriously. So, like Andrew's already the king of getting in people's heads, but especially with Roka, who takes himself and his persona so seriously, I don't think it's going to be as much of a challenge like with Dan and with Riley. I mean, he didn't really have to get in their heads much because, I mean, they can kind of deflect that. But Roka is very emotional and very prone to getting inside his head. So that's definitely one benefit that that Drew will have in this match for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think Andrew has tough skin, and I think because he plays the game so well, I think he understands how to take it. But I mean, he's only had 2 singles matches against Dan and Riley, and neither of them went after him in a way that John Roca will go after him. Like, he's never really been tested in that type of situation. So I think it'll be interesting to see that. But I also don't think that it's going to bother him at all. I think he's going to play his game, and I think that's going to bother Roca more than anything is that he's not bothering him. If I hope they play it cool. I just hope they both like play it cool, and it's just silent shit talking, and they just go with questions. I hope John Roca comes out with something covering his mouth instead of his eyes. That's what I want.
Yes, that would be ideal.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you guys seen that poll on the Facebook page about taking the Schmodown somewhere outside of California?
Yep.
That's pretty interesting. So I'm in Texas, and I see a lot of people putting stuff about Texas, and Dallas is a great central location for everyone. And most Texans are used to a long drive anyways. I live 8 hours away from Dallas, and I do it twice a year, 3 times a year maybe. So it's not hard, and most Texans are used to a long drive. So come to Texas.
What's the film festival that's down there? Like, doesn't Collider, do they go down to isn't there a film festival?
South by
Is it
Southwest.
Austin?
Yeah.
South by Southwest, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I guess if they could plan that and like maybe combine it, I don't know.
Ooh, that would be a good idea. South by Southwest, y'all. That's a great idea.
We have New York Comic Con.
That would be so fun. Do South by Southwest.
We have New York Comic Con over too in New York, guys. Yeah. My vote, of course, would be New York. As well, the Tri-State area. Even like Philly would be good. Forget Boston. Sorry, don't want to go to there. But yeah. Come on, Christian. I know you want to come home. So come back.
Boo.
New York. We will come back to you with open arms.
Cheap move to appeal to Christian.
I'm sure you miss us. And we're the city in Eversleeves. We're the greatest city in the world. So come to New York.
Yeah. So for me, I think so. The poll was like New York City was number 1, number 2 is Chicago. For me, Chicago is probably the most doable. It's like a 6-hour drive for me, which I mean, people have been talking about doing like meetups and stuff, and 6 hours is kind of a little bit of a drive to do a meetup, but like I would make the 6-hour drive to go to Schmodown Live. So Chicago is probably like of the ones that are in contention is probably like my choice. What was not on the poll, my suggestion was Nashville, because I feel like Nashville it's about a 6-hour drive from like a lot of areas. I think like New Orleans is maybe like 6 or 7 hours. St. Louis, Cincinnati, there's just a lot of states that are centrally located. So like if it were up to me, I would say Nashville. But Chicago, of the ones that are like a serious contender, Chicago would probably be the one that I would actually be able to do. So I guess I guess it'll be interesting to see how because I mean, it's definitely a lot of expense as far as travel and accommodations. Not for us. I mean, yes, for us, but for like the crew and everything to kind of have to travel and all that is a pretty major expense. So it's more than just like renting a theater and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see how big a theater they would have to cover in order to make it a possibility.
PlayStation Theater, they can do that. Just saying, Irving Plaza, we got a lot of venues over here.
Yeah. I guess it just depends, like, I mean, I know the El Portal, I think like 300 is like a sellout, or around 300 is a sellout, but I have to imagine they would have to have more than 300 people for like a cross country like event like that. So I guess it'd be interesting to see, like, would they need 1,000 people? Would they need 2,000 people in order to make it worthwhile, you know? Now, if they did combine it with like New York Comic Con, Celebration, South by Southwest, if they combined it with something where they might be able to kind of combine those expenses, like maybe it's something that's potentially something that will happen in the future.
Yeah. I mean, they can't do Comic Con this year, unfortunately, because
Right.
Comic Con is literally 3 weeks away.
Right.
Probably.
Right.
October 4th, so can't do it now, obviously.
Yeah.
But ideally, I think like we're talking about the tri-state area, so that would be like New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. So they would definitely get like a lot of people coming up from there. But I have family in Texas, so
I'd be willing to travel to Chicago, Arizona. Out of the places that were inside of the poll, Chicago and Arizona would probably be the places that I would be willing to travel. Chicago's it's not a hard flight, and Arizona's not a hard flight either. So those places I'd be willing to go if I knew ahead of time, like depending on how far in advance I'd know about it. I think I could probably swing it, but if it's in Texas, anywhere in Texas, guaranteed I'll go.
Mm-hmm. Well, you bring up a good point, because part of the thing is like flights, in order for people to get like reasonably priced flights, they do have to kind of know relatively further in advance. But a lot of times those like matchups aren't scheduled like super far in advance. So you'd almost have to just kind of guess, like just book your flight and hope it's a good match, or maybe they would just have to kind of come up with an event further ahead of time so that people can kind of decide if they want to go. So it's one of those things where with the El Portal people, a lot of people in that area are able to kind of, they can either go or they can't, whereas like people that are booking flights and stuff like that may need a little bit more notice as far as kind of who's going to be on the event and stuff like that. So
Yay. Okay. Well, we're trying to keep this episode short and sweet for everyone today. So is there anything else that we want to talk about before we head out?
No, I don't really have anything else to say. Too much.
We are all good. All good.
I guess Melissa has.
All right.
I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good, y'all. So thanks everyone for hanging out with us today. It was really fun and exciting to watch the Andrew and Mark match. Man, what a ride. What a ride Team Action has been on. It's been super exciting to watch the boys grow and develop into their characters. It's been really exciting to watch these guys shine. It's really fun. If you guys aren't a part of the Team Action Facebook page, make sure you sign up for that. We're almost at 1,000 members. We are at 983 the last time that I checked. So we're almost there, and it'd be great to get that page to 1,000 followers. It'd be fun. If you follow the guys on the Popcorn Talk Network with Action Movie Anatomy, it's now moved to Thursdays at it's 4 p.m. for me, but it's 2 Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, I believe. And tune into that because it's really fun to see those guys outside of their Schmodown characters. They're really good dudes. They interact very much in the Facebook page. Our secret little hidden love gem is Sue, Andrew's mom, who I want to send a love shout out to. Thank you so much for supporting the entire Action Army, Sue. It's been wonderful to have you around. It's so awesome whenever you pop into any of the comments or anything like that. So we appreciate you very much. Yay! So where can we find everyone? Danny, where can we find you?
Guys, you can find me on Twitter at DKPKP. That's DKPKP. Or my Instagram, you could find me on Danny_K22. That's Danny_K22.
Okay, and me, I'm pretty boring. So when I'm not ruling my kingdom, you can find me on the Facebook pages of the Movie Trivia Schmodown Facebook page and the Action Army Facebook page. So just on Facebook, wherever.
Yeah, and you can find me on the Movie Trivia Schmodown page and on the Action Army page. You can also find me on my new Twitter handle at Lady Loston, Lady_Loston. LADY_LOTHSTON. It's a Song of Ice and Fire reference. So you can go ahead and follow me on there. Make sure to check back next week to see us on the Call to Action podcast. We appreciate all of you, every single one of you. Thanks so much, guys, and we're going to head out. Bye.
Bye, guys.